Hello, I'm Chris Williams from Read Comics, They're Bad For You, or if you're watching this on BitChute, the name of my BitChute channel is Comic Freak. Today is going to be one of a two-part video. I didn't have enough room to put all this on one video, so I'm making it a two-parter. Welcome to Part 1, South Park Made It Cool Not to Care, Then the World Changed. An article by Vice, who used to apparently be cool, but I never actually knew that because I always thought they were just another shill media site. The article goes like this. In the summer of 1999, with only 2.5 seasons of the show under their belt, Matt Stone and Trey Parker went to the big screen with South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. In doing so, their lewd, low-budget cartoon about a group of foul-mouthed elementary school boys took a step that their rivals, The Simpsons, would wait 19 seasons before attempting. It was a ballsy move. Looking back. It was a typical South Park. We're in the business of making people go, what the F is this? Stone and Parker told Rolling Stone in 1998. On its release, South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut took home almost 4 times its budget, received overwhelmingly favorable reviews, and snagged an Oscar nomination for Best Original Song. Something about its refusal to bow to, with its intentionally shoddy animation style and irreverent sense of humor, made it the perfect fit for the MTV generation, playing to a post-boomer audience defined by cynicism and a sort of directionless, anti-authoritarian spirit. South Park rolled up with a demonic glint in its eye and raised a middle finger for anyone and everything. The crowd went wild. As the show chugs into its 22nd season, its cultural legacy remains a source of contention for critics. Some, such as Brandon Katz at The Observer, have argued that you're an idiot if you don't appreciate South Park's unflinching satire of contemporary culture, and that the movie's satire is more panic and media scapegoating is more relevant today than ever. Others, observing the polarized political climate of Trump's America, have accused the show of raising a generation of trolls and even laying the foundation for the rise of the alt-right. Oh, come on here, the alt-right? Back then they said it was leftist, now they're saying it's alt-right. Of course. 20 years after Bigger, Longer, and Uncut hit theaters, South Park remains a battleground in America's culture wars, but not exactly for the same reason that it became one of the best. Back in 1999, South Park's insistence on making fun of everyone and everything felt like an exhilarating exertion of personal freedom in an entertainment landscape that was being censored along increasingly hardcore and conservative lines. But in a world where conservatives have increasingly positioned themselves as the harbingers of free speech, leveraging the rights to speak one's mind as justification for violating the personal freedom of others, the true legacy of South Park's no F's given attitude becomes a little more difficult to praise. In fact, it can start looking a little dangerous. Oh, come on, you're just making this up. This article is a cartoon without unbelievably upsetting it is that they're actually expecting us to take it seriously. To go back to the episode where it all began, Cartman gets an anal probe, announced the show's mission to have fun and raise hell. Season 1 continued on in pretty much that vein. Elephants made love to pigs. Starving African kids got accidentally shipped to Colorado, and Satan's son got picked on at South Park Elementary. There seemed to be no particular agenda to any of these decisions. They were just wacky, kind of unacceptable things that were sure to get a laugh, but I don't think the writer of this ever knew what funny was. At first, those fart jokes and curse words felt like an act of political rebellion. The South Park creators grew up in the 70s, a decade when the Supreme Court deliberated on the serious moral ramifications of George Carlin's 7 words you can never say on television. By the turn of the millennium, rappers were being arrested on obscenity charges, and the Parents Television Council was pressuring the government into censoring violence, profanity, and sexual content far more strictly from the start. The PTC berated South Park for everything from overuse of the word S, the S word, to encouraging sex education in the environment. Parker and Stone were genuine underdogs, 2 young guys fresh out of film school making an offbeat cartoon for a fledgling comedy network without money or fame to protect them. Every risk they took put their careers on the line. So the complete opposite of the writer of this article, who probably never put anything on the line. For the most part, their risks paid off. It's crazily more permissive than when we started. Parker told The Guardian in 2014 that standards were much higher when we started out. Bigger, longer, and uncut occasioned a protracted battle between its creators and both the Motion Picture Association of America and Paramount Studios. Stone and Parker were ready to fight tooth and nail for every curse word, sex act, and decapitation in their movie, producing their legendary memo in which they gleefully donated the particular sex acts that they felt more passionate about, including their refusal to take the MPAA's guidelines seriously, ultimately served to confound the censors so much that the film actually became dirtier than it had begun. Asked to remove the word hell from the film's title, South Park All Hell Breaks Loose, Stone and Parker offered the far filthier one that it is currently known to go by. The show skewered parental panic about sex in Season 5, proper condom use, and drugs in Season 6, My Future Self and Me, urging parents to eschew scare tactics in favor of calm, realistic conversation in its episodes about immigration, goobacks, religion trapped in the closet, and pornography, the return of the Fellowship of the Ring to the Two Towers. It was essentially asking the same thing of the world at large, to approach difficult subjects head-on, even if that meant making childish jokes about them. Its enemies were anyone who impeded that. And that's a good thing. Matt and Trey had the right idea that should be exemplary in this day and age. And all comedians should strive for that as well as everyone else. And yet, it wasn't long before the limitations of that just let people have fun ethos began to show. South Park's third season kicked off with Rainforest Shimmerfirst, a send-up of environmentalists, and their prettified version of the natural world. Its depiction of activists was highly recognizable and undeniably funny, but by throwing out the very idea of environmentalism, along with its more annoying proponents, it hinted at an outlook that would come to define the show from then on. Well, gee, you're making a problem of them making fun of people who expect other people to bow down and worship them for their big brains? Oh, how come on. Further into the article, I mean, it really is that we take an issue and we sort of always have two sides about to kill each other over it, and the boys in the middle doing fart jokes and saying, who cares. Parker told NPR back in 2010, this is, you're both crazy in a way that both sidism, the idea that at the heart of every issue lie two equally wrong, equally annoying parties. Symptomatic of the show's proudly childless point of view. Being a kid keeps you on the fringes, which you can give an insightful, unclouded view of the injustices in the world, but it also means you have no real responsibility for what you say or do, a stance that seems especially unsurprising given the show was created by two straight, cisgender, you don't really need a PhD to know what's going to be said next, males. This guy is going to say they're just two straight white males who are rich. Oh, come on. They got there because they worked hard and they know what they're doing. I spend shockingly little time thinking about real-world stuff, Parker told Rolling Stone in 2007. As far as I'm concerned, I've got a computer, the internet, an Xbox, and PlayStation 3, so F off. When you see the world from the childish vantage point, it's easy to deprioritize anything beyond your own enjoyment of life. Political disputes are just grating background noise that you have no real impact upon their lives beyond distracting them from their video games. Over time, the show gradually leaned more into its role as the clown prince of no sides taken satire. Sexual harassment laws in Season 3 and smoking bans in Season 7 received the same treatment as environmentalists, and then Season 9 saw a reluctant Stan being forced to take part in a mascot election between a giant douche and a turd sandwich. That's South Park's view of politics in a nutshell. Every debate is between a douche and a turd, so calling bull S on both of them is the most enlightened stance you can take. It is, because you want to make politics into something big and grand that no one can escape from, and that's what's wrong. This equal opportunity offender ethos, when claiming to make fun of everyone equally and theoretically discriminate against no one, is hardly exclusive to South Park. Plenty of edgy late 90s, early 2000s artists like Ricky Gervais and Seth MacFarlane prided themselves on railing against the censors in their early days, but now find themselves under fire for their reliance on lazy stereotypes and their insistence on making dehumanizing trans jokes. After all, a real view like that that could only really come from a life enshrined in privilege, racism, sexism, homophobia. Oh, come on. Saying Matt and Trey's lives were so good because they are rich. They only became rich after they worked hard and made South Park. And you know, it's kind of funny that we have a picture there of Dave Chappelle, and the article is telling us to skip it. You know, his new comedy special, Sticks and Stones. It's kind of funny that it should be pictured on this article because it's really funny that he should be here. Because these leftist writers are doing the same thing to Dave Chappelle, calling him, well, homophobic and transphobic. Oh, how not great. We can't get anything original from these guys either, but at least comedians can be original, and they're funny too. At least when Dave Chappelle and Matt and Trey make you laugh, they make you laugh. Continuing from the part where I started making fun of the writer of this article, the show has been acknowledged. This is in episodes like with apologies to Jesse Jackson, where Stan slowly comes to realize that he will never fully appreciate what it's like to experience racial discrimination. Well, if you think about it in this day and age, you might know about it now because apparently a lot of white people are being discriminated against by the leftist media, who are themselves mostly white. But then again, there are black people in the leftist media too, and they are convinced that they are helpless and that they are victimized. Basically, that's being told to them by their friends, the white writers in the leftist side of the media. And that's sort of funny, when your friends are telling you you're victimized and you can't do anything, and yet you expect them to still be your friends. Or I should say you are somehow still friends even though your white friend is telling you you're completely useless and a victim. And you yourself believe that, and you attack white people, including your white friend, telling him his scum. So he in himself is just as depressed as you are. So you both then attack anyone who actually has any balls or is, well, working their butt off to improve their lives because you hate seeing anyone actually happy and make a profit. Now, I'll be continuing this video in my second video of the day. So please subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed because YouTube is going around unsubscribing people, so make sure you are still subscribed. If you're watching my video but you have not subscribed, just subscribe to me. Subscribe to me at YouTube at Read Comics They're Bad For You. Then go over to BitChute and subscribe to my BitChute channel, Comic Freak. Hit that bell for notifications, hit that like button, and leave some comments down below. Also, could you please share this video? Share it online, share it on Twitter, and share it on Facebook. Share it anywhere you would get the most views. Because YouTube is also not promoting their creators' videos anymore. It would really help me if you could please share this video. Also, keep checking back in future videos for more information on my own upcoming independent comic book, Scumdogs. I'm Chris Williams, and I'll be back again tomorrow with another video or review.